Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Kyle, and today we're going to talk about understanding difference. As you can see, I'm one half of a set of twins. So most people's first reaction when they meet us is a brief pause, followed by, "You don't look alike at all." And you can see we're totally different from a very young age and our appearance. But almost immediately, there turns into a very different assumption. Like they say, "So you must have been inseparable growing up, right? You probably do everything together because you're twins." Within just a few seconds, I'm placed into two completely opposite explanations. One insisting that we are entirely different, and the other demanding that we must be exactly the same. The contradiction has followed us throughout our lives, and it has shaped how I understand identity, difference, and what it really means to grow up as a twin. The first time I realized I didn't fit people's idea of what a twin should be was in first grade. On the very first day of language class, my teacher announced proudly, "This class has a pair of twins." My classmates immediately looked around the room excited, almost like they were expecting to see two identical robots stand up. When we finally did, the room went quiet. Someone whispered, "That can't be right. They don't look the same at all." In that moment, I learned something important. The world already had a template for what twins were supposed to look like, and we didn't match it. But as I grew older, I realized that appearance was never the real issue. What truly confined us was the expectation that the twins should live the same life. In middle school, I felt that pressure very clearly. Every semester, our school held a large club recruitment event, and I chose the literature club without hesitation. I loved writing, storytelling, and expressing myself through words. My twin, on the other hand, was fascinated by numbers and experiments. He joined the Science and Innovation Club. It was a simple, logical choice for both of us. But people around us didn't see it that way. Classmates would ask, "Did you two argue? Why didn't you choose the same club?" That was when it became clear to me. In many people's minds, a twin relationship is maintained by synchronization. If you stop moving in the same direction, something must be wrong. As we grow older, our paths continue to diverge. I stayed in China for high school, while my twin went abroad to study. For the first time, we weren't just choosing different interests. We were living in completely different environments. I was preparing for exams at home, adjusting to intense academic pressure. He was adapting to grow in a new education system, a new language, and a new culture. Our daily lives looked nothing alike, yet the reaction around us were strangely constant. People assumed that because we were no longer in the same classroom, or even the same country, we were somehow less like twins. But the truth was exactly the opposite. It was during the period of difference that our bond became the most stable and genuine. Science helps explain why this makes sense. Long-term twin studies have shown that fraternal twins share about half of their genes, the same as ordinary siblings. So there is no biological reason for us to have identical personalities, interests, or life paths. Psychological research also tells us that what truly shapes the closeness between twins isn't how similar they look, but how much they experience together while growing up. Shared moment, struggle, failures, small victories matters far more than resemblance. There's also a concept in social psychology called the labeling effect. It suggests that the expectations placed on us by others can deeply influence how we see ourselves. When society repeatedly tells us twins that they should be the same, we begin to hesitate before every decision. Should I choose this, or should I choose what people expect from the twin? Am I allowed to be different? These questions quietly accumulate, turning into pressure that's hard to me. I remember one middle school midterm exam vividly. I struggled badly with math that semester. Sitting in the exam hall, I felt lost from the very first question. Meanwhile, my twin didn't do well on his language exam either. His essay simply didn't come together. When the result came out, comparisons appeared immediately. Someone asked me, "Why is your math score so low? Is your twin good at math?" And in his class, someone asking, "Why didn't you do well in writing? Isn't your twin supposed to be good at that?" None of these comments were meant to hurt us, but repeated again and again, they slowly become a weight. Quite invisible, but very real. What truly changed my understanding of our relationship didn't come from an argument or a long conversation. It came from a moment when we were both moving forward separately and succeeding in our own ways. That year, I entered a school writing competition. I rewrote the same piece over and over again, spending entire weekends at my desk. When the results were announced, I placed higher than I expected, and my teacher praised my work in the class. For the first time, I felt something click. Writing wasn't just something I liked. It was something that belonged to me. Around the same time, my twin was participating in a youth science innovation project. He stayed in lab every day, testing, failing, and redesigning. In the end, his team won first prize, and the place featured their project online. A teacher described him as naturally suited for science. We didn't sit down to compare achievement. We didn't need this. Seeing him shine in his field, while I stood confidently in mine, I finally understood something essential. We never needed sameness to prove our bond. We were walking toward different destinations, and that was exactly what made our relationship meaningful. Twins are not mirrors. We are each other's earliest and longest reference points. We share a starting line, but not a finish line. We grew up in similar environments, yet become entirely different people. And that is why the story isn't just about twins. It is all of us. Every one of us grows up under expectations and labels. As students, as children, as friends. We are constantly told who we should resemble and what path we should follow. And at some point, all of us quietly ask ourselves the same question. Am I allowed to be different? So the message I want to leave you with today is this. Understanding difference matters more than searching for similarity. Allowing others to be different is also allowing yourself to live more honestly. Because difference is what makes us who we are. And difference is where real life truly begins. Thank you very much.